There are many misconceptions about being an actor. It is not the glamorous life 24/7. There's a very, 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 very small percentage of people who live that life. And those are the people that we can name, like the famous people. The thing about show business is that it is exactly those two words. It's show and it's business. And on the show part, you can control certain things. Your training, your attitude. The business side is huge. And there's a lot that is not under your control. If you get the job or not. And you cannot get a job for a myriad of reasons. I've heard things like, you look too much like the director's ex-wife that he's now in court with for the divorce, and that just rub him the wrong way, so him decide, or the agency, if it's a commercial, decide them no want it. There's somebody with a higher profile that needs a job, because especially now, everybody needs a job. I'm telling you, with social media, the game has changed. A lot of the things that we see on social media, and one of my favorite things to say to people is, please, please, please do not believe everything that you see on social media. The perfectly curated pictures, there's so much that goes on behind that, right? Whether it means you're buying your own dress, whether it means that you're doing a favor to get somebody to do your hair, makeup, take the pictures, that's on that side. But as far as getting the job, oh my God, there's so much that you're not in control of. And that has been one of the freeing things for me in my career, has been learning to disassociate myself from that. Because before, every audition felt like it was the one, and I had to get it, or else when I'll go eat, it will say something about me as an actor and as a person that I didn't get this. And through time and age, I've learned to let some of that go, which has been very healing, which is why I'm so happy I did not get the success that I swore I wanted after I graduated from drama school in my 20s. I'm so happy that I didn't get that success, because also Hollywood isn't a very nurturing business. It's not there to take care of your feelings, make you feel good about not getting a job. It can be very cutthroat. It's very easy to get caught up. It's very easy to lose yourself if you're not grounded, if you don't have a center, right? So I always tell people, please have a center, whether it be your spirituality, family, something else. Have other interests. Please nurture them. But yes, it's not all that it claims to be. I equate it to, if you ever go to a Hollywood studio and see what you think is a neighborhood, right? And you think, oh, look at the buildings, look at the steps. And then you open the door only to see it's just pure plywood buttressing the wall. Yeah, that's Hollywood. But then, of course, you do certain projects and they're fun and they're delightful and you feel like, oh my God, yes, this is why I'm doing it. The make-believe part and working with great people. So I have a project coming up on Hulu and Disney Plus called Washington Black. It's a 9-part miniseries, and I'm very excited because I get to play a Jamaican in it again. Because most of my career I have, except for once when I was British, I've played American characters. It's a period piece set in the 1800s, and I play a pretty badass Jamaican woman, let's just put it that way. I'll give a hint. Think Port Royal, the type of people that would come in and out of Port Royal. Tattooed, and I'm a leader. I'll leave it at that. Another role that, of course, is near and dear to my heart has been the most recent one where I got to play the great Diane Jobson in Bob Marley, One Love. And Diane was Bob's lawyer and confidant, still practicing law, still scheduled for court up until 2025, as she told me. She told me she's busier now more than ever. When you have the privilege and honor of playing somebody who is still living, it just behooves you as an actor to try and meet that person, especially if they're willing to meet with you. So it was a no-brainer for me. I called my uncle who lives here in Kingston, who is a lawyer, and I kind of thought, wait a second, they are around the same age. They must have practiced and been in the same circles around that time. And this is an uncle that I'm very close to. We have a deep love of Peter Tosh. So from I'm this big, he and I vibe off of Peter Tosh. So I called him and I said, Uncle Tommy, did you work with Diane? And him say, yeah, man, me and Diane, in court together at the same time and all them things there. So I said, do you have her number? He said, no, I don't have a recent number. So I said, boy, maybe I'll reach out to production to ask them to please try to get her number. About 9 days or so before I'm set to come to Jamaica to film, and call me, Nisi, you're not gonna believe this. Me I leave gun court and who walk in but Diane. And me tell her, say my niece might be playing her. I didn't tell him that I had the job at this point, And she would love to talk to you. So she gave him her number. And by the time he called me, it was too late to call here. I didn't want to call too late. But the next day, I called her and I introduced myself and I said, hi, I'm Hugh Thompson's niece. He gave me a number. I'm the actress and what have you. And she's like, yes, how may I help you? Love it. Love it. And I just told her, I said, I am playing you in the movie and it is my duty to speak with you. You are a living, breathing person who worked with Bob so intimately. And it's my job as an actor to do that, to honor you. And I want you to be happy with the person that is portraying you. Because she didn't have a say in who was playing her. She said, well, thank you very much. And I said, look, I will meet you. I will work around your schedule. You just tell me. So she very kindly offered for me invited me to come to her home in the country. Let me tell you, that woman is phenomenal. That woman is a Jamaican treasure. That is a woman that I wish so many young Jamaican girls and young women could know about her. Not just know her as Bob's lawyer, but how intricately woven into Bob's life she was. What she did for him and his family. Behind the scenes, that she doesn't talk about. She's real Rasta, so she's not looking for no glory and fame and them kind of things, their recognition. She even said, what we need recognition for? And I said, but Auntie Diane, you could be such a light and spark of inspiration to a young Jamaican girl. She was there with Bob for so much in his life. And she was there to be of service. And even to this day, she's dedicated to honoring the real Bob, the one who donated to the ANC, the one who was about liberation and empowerment of Black people. In addition to love of all. I mean, she was there in Germany when he was in his later days getting cancer treatment. She was there. One of the pictures that I actually found online, one of the few. And I said, Auntie Diane, what was this picture? She said, oh, that was Germany. Because you could tell Bob was ill. You could tell he was looking ill. And she said, yeah, man, we did see one paparazzi. I mean, I want my picture take, so me put down my head, but Bob was looking at them. I have to say I'm quite proud of that story, of the story of how I got the part in One Love. So I work mostly in LA, right? I had reached out to my agent and managers and said, well, this is when I knew the project was greenlit and was going. So my ears perk up, And I said, can you please find out who is casting this? Can you find a script so I can see who I could audition for? Because I knew, for obvious reasons, I can't do Rita and I can't do Cindy, who I assumed would be in the movie. I can't play any of those, and I couldn't imagine who else I could be. I can't be one of the I3s. I'm not going to fit the bill for that. Fine. Well, they said they couldn't find anything. All right. Okay. Some time goes by. I'm talking to my cousin here who works in film production. She and I are very close. And she works on everything that comes here, right? As a local crew. So in the conversation, I said, but wait, you're working on the Bob movie? She said, yeah, man. I said, who is the casting director? So then she gave me the name of Corinne Blake Chin, the fantastic, fabulous casting director here. She WhatsApped me the number right away. I finished my conversation with my cousin, and I said, click, hello, hi, Corinne, my name is Sundra. My cousin gave me your number, Kenisha. I'm an actor. I want to be a part of this, however small the role. I said, I know I can't play Rita. I know I can't play Cindy, and I'm assuming Cindy and Rita are the two main women. I don't care if I play the role of somebody serving coffee. I just want to be a part of this. Now, my agent and manager will not be happy if I agree to do a role where I just say, here's your coffee, sir. But because this project is so important, I want to be a part. And I meant it. I genuinely meant it. So she said, okay, well, we are looking for the role of a doctor from the night Bob got shot. I said, okay, I'll audition. My ego is not so big and my pride is not so great that I wouldn't audition for that. She said, but we're also looking for the role of his lawyer. When she said that, no, every hair on the back of my neck stood up, because then I remembered her from the documentaries. I said, oh my God, she's in the movie. And I mean, I'm looking, it's like I'm literally seeing her face in front of me in the documentary as soon as and I'm still on the phone, you know, I'm still on the phone with the casting director. I said, okay, yes, Diane Jobson. So she said, well, we're looking for these two roles. I said, okay. I said, listen, I'm going back to LA in 3 days. When do you need the auditions? She said, well, you have a couple of days or what have you. I said, okay, I'm going to be back X day. I'll have it for you Y day. So I'm doing the auditions, you know, and I said, I'm not going to send in the one with the doctor, you know, I don't want, because I want to be the lawyer. But I said, no, she asked me to do both. I'm going to do both. I'm not going to assume or presume anything. So I submitted. And then I had heard through the grapevine that there was another actress that was close to the family that probably would have gotten it, and she already had locks. And I was so hurt. This was just something I just heard, you know. And once I did the audition, I wanted Diane's part so badly, because I feel like we're kindred spirits in a way. And I just remember saying to myself, and it said a little silent prayer, and I said, okay, well, God, if she gets it, it means it's meant for her to get it. And I just want her to do a good job. I just want her to be her best and to do service to the role, because I want the whole movie to do well. And if it means her getting that part, okay, maybe I'll get the doctor part. And I was very sincere in that prayer. And then when we find out, say, me get approval from the director first, I said, okay. But then you have to wait to hear if the big studio approve you. And then I heard, you've been approved by the studio. And it was like I'm at a loss for words. It was like that. I said, wow, okay, I got it. I got it. You know, but then you have to go through negotiation with the pay and all that, and it drags. So, you know, it kind of, you celebrate, but then you don't want to celebrate too much. And it wasn't until I think I got on the plane to come here and arrived at Norman Manley and saw somebody with my name, the driver. I said, my boss now. That is when it licked me. That is when it truly licked me. I said, this is real. And I almost wanted to cry. But I said, hold it together. Just hold it together. Doing One Love, oh God, how do I even begin to describe it? It was so much more than a job. This was an opportunity for us to tell the story of one of our, I call him, national heroes. For the first time ever, not in a documentary, a biopic that was sanctioned by the family with some amazing actors attached. To know that I was going to be a part of that story, to celebrate my culture, to celebrate my country, to celebrate my heritage and my love for those. I mean, honestly, I try not to say words if I don't have them, so I don't repeat myself. But the honor is something that you can't describe, and maybe it's not meant to be described, so you just have that feeling within you, and you just hope that people can feel what you're feeling. Who would have thought I would be an author? I certainly didn't. That was never part of the plan. So one day I'm playing with my son, my eldest son, who was about 5 years old then. We were in the living room and I'm tickling and kissing him, something that, I did quite often. And he was laughing so hard and so out of breath that at some point he just managed to utter, "Mommy, why do I get all the kisses?" And I just believe in divine inspiration, because at that moment I pulled away from him because I saw a book, at least the contents of the book, come to me. And it was coming so fast that I had to literally stop and go to my computer. And I just said, "Honey, hold on a second." And I just started typing. And I said, "Okay, I'll clean up the grammar and everything later." But it was flooding my brain. Serious thing. And that became the title of the book. So it was just a Word document in my laptop. I knew nothing about writing a book. I didn't even know where you started. I had no desire. I just said, let me remember this that my son said to me. So the book is called "Why Do I Get All the Kisses?" And each page, outside of the first page, is an answer to why I give him all the kisses. It's an ode to my love for my son, my child, and why he gets all the kisses. I like to equate it to a Dr. Seuss book called "Oh, the Places You'll Go." Even though, yes, when you look at the illustrations, you may think, oh, this is just for young children. But the sentiment is so deep that whether your child is 3 or they're 14 or they're 22, you're going to feel the sentiment that a mother has for a child, a parent has for a child. I decided to self-publish the book. After realizing what it took to get a publisher or even a book agent at this point, it's a lot like trying to find an acting agent. So you can be rejected. Sometimes the hoops that they want you to go through and the waiting time that they want you to go through to wait to see if this is something they want to do. I said, you know what? My career entails enough rejection. Maybe if I was a banker or some other profession where I'm not used to this kind of rejection, I wouldn't mind waiting. But I said, I have enough therapy, years in my pocket at this point. Let me not do this. So I decided to go the self-publishing route. Now, I did think about this back when I first said, let me make this thing into a real book. But back then, self-publishing was very new on the scene and very costly to do. And that was also very overwhelming, which means, what does Sundra do? Head in the sand. Let me just put it away. I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this. So I pull it out again. Don't ask me why. I would just pull it out every couple of years and look at it and say, no, man, let me do this. But what did happen in those years was that I would get different languages to translate it to. So the book is in English, but you turn the page and you'll see the translation into 22 separate languages from around the world. And I just have been so fortunate because for every person who did a translation, it was somebody that I know, or I knew through somebody else. So it feels like this almost family friend affair thing as well. So I have the former senior art director of Nickelodeon, Anthony Connolly, who did my illustrations. And they're one of the things that people talk about with this book. They said, I love the illustrations, because he took pictures of me and pictures of my son. I even let my son, I let him choose how he wanted to look from the different years, but I also let him choose how he wanted me to look. So it was really a family affair, and it was a process. Publishing a book, you think it's, oh no, it is a process. I had to learn how to, formatting, how to get an ISBN, how to get a barcode, how to get a Library of Congress number, how you have to do this, you have to get this, that, the third, you have to get a copyright. Every time I thought, okay, I've done this. No, guess what? No, now you have to do this. No, now you have to do this. But I did it. I did self-publishing, but because now it has become so much more accessible, affordable, that I said, you know what? I want to do it my way one time. Because even if I get a publisher that picks it up and wants to reissue it and we make it quote-unquote fancier or what have you, and all the bells and whistles that comes with having a major publisher, at least I can say the first time I did it my way. I'm at a place in my life right now where I feel I know myself now more than ever. And my expectations of my career are very different. One of the big things that I plan to do is form my own production company. Because one of the things that many actors find is that you're always at the mercy of somebody else. You're always waiting to be chosen when you're an actor. You're not the decision maker unless you get on that side of the table where you can say, okay, I want to be the one to play this role. So that's one of the things that I'm most excited about, is starting that side of the business for myself, for other people, to be able to tell stories that maybe Hollywood is not privy to, maybe not jumping at the bit to represent. Caribbean stories, because there's so many, whether on the islands themselves or in the diaspora, many great people whose stories need to be told. And you just need a voice, somebody to be in the room to say, hey, this is a story that needs to be told, and here's why. Because one thing about Hollywood, we think it's this big, open-minded society. You'd be surprised how narrow-minded it can be. I feel I can bring those stories, I can bring that to the room. And having lived in Jamaica, having lived in America, and knowing both cultures, having my finger on the pulse of both cultures, I feel like I could be that bridge to be able to bring understanding for both sides. So in terms of Hollywood, being able to say, look, okay, this is why this is so, and then the other way around. I'm always going to act. I love it, but I want to be a boss.